then, surprisingly, Flash hears a woman's voice answer. She warns the man in the tractor to beware and says that Flash Gordon was killed by a comet.
An imposter, huh? All right, we'll watch him.
First picture, bottom row. Flash and his friends are ushered into the strange building that serves as the air base on the moon. The base is an odd sight, part fortress and part science lab. It's crammed with the most advanced star radars, rocket launchers, and nuclear devices. With a wave of his gun, a guard motions Flash into Dr. Stella's office. Flash stops in front of the woman who apparently is a leader of the fortress. She stares at him searchingly. Then she tells him that she's seen pictures of Gordon, and that since he looks like Flash Gordon, that he could be someone pretending to be Gordon. A space spy, maybe, trying to ferret out the secrets of this outpost of Earth. And then she says, "We'll soon find out." Flash is given a shot of hypnoserum that'll put him to sleep, but enable him to answer any questions that are asked him while he is sleeping. Question after question is asked Flash. And then, last picture, while Flash still sleeps, Stella whispers to her aide, "He's really Gordon. As long as he remains here, our secret is in danger. Watch him."
Ooh, now she knows that he really is Flash Gordon.
Yes, now she knows. And because she knows what a dangerous man Flash is, he's even in greater danger.
Well, if she's honest, why doesn't she want him to know what they're doing on the moon there?
Well, apparently the secret she wants to keep from him is not an honest one.
That's just what I was thinking. I wonder what that secret is.
Well, maybe next week we'll find that out. Now let's go to the first page of the second section of Puck the Comic Weekly.
Oh, yes, and here's Dagwood, who does such funny things.
Well, let's see what funny thing he does today. Here we go with Dagwood and Blondie. Ramafoo, Ramafum, Zim Zam Zombie. Conjure me music for Dagwood and Blondie. Blondie is shopping today. She sees a hat in a store window and likes it so much she goes in to try it on. As Blondie admires herself's second picture in the new hat, the saleslady says, "It's $7.95.
Oh, it was made for me. I'll take it.
Last picture, top row, out on the street, Blondie is hit by a thought.
Oh, dear, I forgot about Dagwood. He'll hit the ceiling if I come home with another new hat.
And first picture, second row, Blondie is back in the hat shop again.
Have you a real expensive hat?
Well, this exclusive model costs $40. Would you like to try it on?
No, I just want to take it home on approval.
Oh, certainly, Mrs. Bumstead.
And that evening, last picture, second row, Blondie comes into the living room where Dagwood is reading a paper. And she's wearing her new hat. She walks in front of Dagwood.
Darling, how do you like my new hat?
Dagwood looks up from his paper.
Well, how much it cost?
First picture, third row, Blondie answers.
$40.
And Dagwood really hits the ceiling.
Outrageous! You think I'm made of money? You think I'm a millionaire?
He drops from the ceiling to his chair. And Blondie says,
I have another little hat here, dear, for only $7.95.
$7.95?
Mm-hmm.
Last picture, third row, Blondie puts the cheap hat on, the one she wanted in the first place.
Do you like it?
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It was made for you. By all means, keep it.
Well, all right, dear, if you say so.
First picture, bottom row, Blondie is in the hat shop again.
I'm returning the $40 hat. Thank you for letting me borrow it.
Second picture, bottom row, she's back home again. As she comes in the door, Dagwood says,
Gee, I love your little hat, dear. You have such good taste.
Thank you, dear.
And last picture, she looks at herself in the mirror, admiring her pretty little hat. And she says softly to herself,
It's simple when you know how. Wasn't that a smart trick that Blondie played on Dagwood?
Yes, it certainly was. Taking the expensive hat home and making Dagwood think she had bought it when she hadn't bought it at all.
That was just a trick to make Dagwood happy that she only bought a cheap hat.
Yes. Well, as she says, it's simple when you know how.
Yes.
Well, now it's time for Dick's Adventure.
Oh, yes, and I'm anxious to read that.
All right, let's go to the very last page of Puck the Comic Weekly.
And here he is. And you remember that Dick is in the early days affairs of America when the Americans and the British were at war.
Yes, and the Americans were led by General Andrew Jackson.
And he had another name because sometimes they called him Old Hickory.
Yes, that was because he was tough. And you see, hickory wood is tough wood.
Yes, and you remember that pirate, Jean Lafitte, that he had offered to help the Americans fight the British?
Yes, but at first General Jackson didn't want to accept Lafitte's help because Jackson didn't like pirates.
And then, all of a sudden, he changed his mind, didn't he?
Yes, he changed his mind, and he let Lafitte go to get his men.
And then a messenger rode into camp and said that the British were marching to attack the Americans. And I wonder if we'll have a battle today.
Well, let's read now and find out. Here we go with Dick's Adventures. Say the magic words with me. Riggedy-pack, kazak, kazak. That's the music for Adventurous Dick. Last picture, top row. The countryside beyond the colorful old city of New Orleans swarms with defenders. French, Spanish, Creoles, and above all, with Tennesseans like Old Hickory himself. Rough, tough hunters who can bark a squirrel at 100 yards and a redcoat at 150. First picture, second row, Dick stands beside General Jackson, waiting for the first sight of the British Army, which is on the march. Dick remembers that the British are 10,000 strong, while Old Hickory's fighters number only 5,000. And then the British regulars in perfect formation, in brilliant red coats, come into sight. Straight toward the field where the battle is to take place they come. They look for the sight of the American army, but see nothing but trees and bushes and silent breastworks. Then suddenly, last picture, second row, 5,000 American rifles spit hot lead and cold death from hidden places. The British ranks are broken, but swiftly they reform. The officers beat their men with swords, forcing them back into rank.
At the men, at them! Over there! Forward!
Time and again, the British charge the Americans.
Forward! Forward!
Time and again, they are driven back. And then, finally, the battle is over. The British have been stopped by the hidden, withering fire of Tennessee rifles, and New Orleans is saved. Last picture, through a wildly jubilant city, Dick walks proudly with the reformed pirate Jean Lafitte. No one knows that though the battle for New Orleans has been fought and won, the United States and Great Britain had already signed a treaty of peace in Ghent 2 weeks before. Yes, and one of the reasons they won was because Jean Lafitte, that pirate, had helped the Americans.
Yes, and just think, the Americans only had half as many men as the British.
Yes, but they had a better way of fighting. The plans of Old Hickory and Jean Lafitte were too smart for the British.
Yes, they were. Oh, that was a good story.
Yes, you bet it was. Well, now look underneath Dick's adventures. There's Rusty Riley.
Oh, yes, and Rusty Riley, you remember that Rusty Riley is with the carnival, and he's with his friend Stovepipe.
Yes, and the carnival is owned by Denver Dooley. And Dooley has hired a couple of new acts to work with his carnival.
Yes, but what Mr. Dooley doesn't know is that two of the people that he has hired are crooks. And one is named Necro. He's the magician. And the other is named Beagle. He's kind of some sort of a fortune teller.
Yes, and Beagle and Necro have tricked Dooley into a card game.
And the crooks are going to cheat and try to win all of Dooley's money. But Rusty knows about this, and he's told Stovepipe about it. And I'll bet you he'll find a way to stop these crooks.
Well, let's read now and see if he does. Here we go with Rusty Riley. Gallop and run till the road is dusty. Give us music for his horse and Rusty. After overhearing the conversation between Necro and Beagle, Rusty finds Stovepipe and leads him back to the tent. As they go, third picture top row, Rusty tells Stovepipe what he heard.
Well, he said Mr. Dooley was a made-to-order sucker, he said. And then he said that nosy kid was fooling with my special specs.
Ah, yes. You no doubt are the nosy kid, Rusty. Tell me, did he mention marked cards?
Last picture talk roll, Rusty exclaims. Jeepers, yes. How'd you know that? He said, give me those marked cards and scram.
I fear that my long experience in this profession has educated me in the devious ways of many deplorable characters. Let us hurry, my boy.
First picture, bottom row. They cautiously approach Necro's tent. Rusty whispers, yeah, this is the place I meant, among these boxes. It's real dark, and you can see in the tent through the back flap.
Yes, we're right in time, my boy. Dooley just came in.
They peek through a crack in the tent. Hey, look, Mr. Stovepipe. Mr. Necro's wearing those queer purplish glasses I told you about.
A little later, inside the tent, the card game between Necro, who's wearing the purplish glasses, and Dooley goes on. Necro says, the three kings beat me. It's your pot. Your luck's really running high, Dooley. Dooley chuckles. Well, I warned you I couldn't lose tonight. Well, how about it? You want to quit?
Outside the tent, Rusty whispers, gee willikins, Mr. Stovepipe, Mr. Dooley is winning.
Quiet, my boy. Wait. Inside the tent, Necro says, well, one more hand, Dooley. Double the amount that's on the table. Then we'll quit. What do you say? Okie doke for me. It's your deal.
Last picture, Stovepipe says, this is what I was waiting for. Quick, Rusty. Run to the main gate and get the policeman who's stationed there. Policeman? Okay.
Oh, goody. Stovepipe's going to send Rusty to get a policeman.
Yes. Now, if Necro pulls any funny stuff, Stovepipe will have him arrested.
Yes, and if he does, Mr. Dooley will find out that Rusty was really the one who stopped Necro from cheating him. And then Mr. Dooley will see that Rusty's the hero.
Yes, you bet he will. But we'll find that out next week. Now, that's all the time I have. But before I go, here's that nice fellow with some more interesting information. Well, Honey and all you boys and girls, I gotta go now, but be sure to meet me and my little friend Miss Honey next week when I read Puck the Comic Weekly. For I'm the Comic Weekly Man, the jolly Comic Weekly Man. Don't forget, boys and girls, see you all next week. Your friend, the Comic Weekly Man, the jolly Comic Weekly Man.